Real estate experts in the Tennessee Valley. We're talking all things real estate as we wrap up another great year in 2024. Ladies, how are y'all doing this morning?
Tired. I'm tired.
It's
It's that time of year where it's like, just run, and try to get the last minute things tied up. And,
Yeah.
I'm
come on, where's that
skating.
Christmas spirit?
I'm skating very close to, I'm at that point where I'm
Christmas
like,
breakdown?
yeah, what do I still have to do? What is it? I'm switching from my normal anxiety to my fancy holiday anxiety right now. So go home, wrap 900 things, trying to figure out where the last few things I need are. But you know what? I'm blessed. I've got a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, I'm
I do
waiting
love
on-
this time of year, but I do have a breakdown about the week before Christmas.
I'm
every year.
just waiting on the list of here are all the gifts we don't have yet that we need by
Literally, that's
by
where
Tuesday.
I'm at. And
So,
you
yeah.
all know me. I mean, those of you guys listening don't have the pleasure to deal with my scatteredness every day of the week. But literally on the way here, I was making like Post-it notes in my car because if I don't, absolutely will forget everything that I have planned. So, just the last few little things. My kiddos are watching a ball game with their dad, so they're out of town. So I'm going to take advantage of that and tie up the last few things that I need to do.
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah,
I'll have a
they're
good time doing
yeah. My everybody that I know is at a football game. So, and it's funny because they're at different ends of the world. My sons
Yeah.
are at a ball game where it was 72. My boyfriend and his friends are going to watch Tennessee play, go Vols, and it's what the high is 16.
I don't know.
Like
Whatever
16
it is,
degrees.
it's way too cold for me.
Nothing, like nothing. We were laughing last night and somebody asked him if I was going and he said, absolutely not. And they're like, why? And he's like, because she would complain the entire time. And they're like, you don't think anybody else will complain? And he said, well, the difference is they'll complain quietly. She would complain out loud the whole time. I was like, yeah.
To him.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Literally, I'd be whining while I was stuck to the chair. So hope they play well. Whoever your team is, I hope that goes well. But
Oh, yeah.
fun times in sports around here this year.
What's been an interesting year?
All the way. That is
And
the
all the way
understatement
around,
of
yeah.
the century.
And
Yes.
I think the thing is it's been a lot of people ask, well, how is it doing? Does it
How's the
compare
market?
to-
How's the
but-
market?
And a lot
Yes.
of mine is how does it compare to XYZ point in time? And
That's the thing 22
Yeah.
years in real estate has taught me. It's somebody asked me the other day what it was like, and I said I guess maybe I've never ridden a bull, but I think it's probably like that. Like, just hold on, because whatever happens going to come around again in some form or fashion. And hindsight is 2020. I'm thankful that
Right. I think this year's been a big kind of maybe reset. And it mostly reset of people's
expectations.
expectations, right. It's not that buyer or seller's market where you would put a house on the market and no matter the condition or the price, you could expect multiple offers and with no concessions either on price or terms. That has completely changed this year.
And I think like trying to change people's mindset about that, because again, that hindsight has shown us that the last few years were really what was abnormal, more so than this is abnormal. So it's almost like resetting people back. We were going over end of the year numbers in our meeting this past week, and resetting people's mindset that multiple offers in 24 hours, way over asking price, no matter the condition of the home, 1.25% interest rates, that is abnormal. Where we're at now is actually better. I mean, I hate to use the word better, but more in line with things. What year would you say as far as trending?
Well, probably going back to 19, and it depends on what you're talking about, because nationally, if you look at the number of homes that sold, they're saying nationally that we've not had this few homes sell since sometime in the 90s. But when you look at local, I mean, we're just kind of, as far as number of homes that have sold, we're pretty lateral for the year. We may be down slightly, but not much. But we are up on the average price, both nationally and locally. So nationally, we do have less homes selling, but they're selling for more money.
I had an interesting conversation with one of the newer agents on our team this week. They had a client who asked them to get them a list of foreclosures. And that's a term I hadn't heard in a long time, but I think it was a really good opportunity for education kind of across the board, both with the agent, with the potential buyer, with everybody. What we're seeing now, guys, is not, thank goodness that most people are in their home really well from an equity standpoint, because home values have not decreased. And most people that have been in their homes for a number of years at this point have extremely low interest rates. So if they're having financial difficulties, maybe for the first time in a very long time, the home is not the source of their financial difficulties.
Right.
They can make their house payment and they can pay a house payment cheaper than they can rent. So people aren't losing their homes because they quote unquote can't make their house payment. People are struggling
because
economically.
If you've owned
but
your home, I mean, more than a couple of years, I mean, even just 1 year, we have seen appreciation across the board. We're probably around 5-6% in our area here to date. But then if you go a little more micro on that and you look at certain price ranges, you're going to see things under $250 have appreciated quite a bit more than that, whereas things that are over $700,000 maybe not quite as much without changes to the property.
And I think the difference is when somebody is struggling financially and they get to a point where the home is a point of contention, they can sell the home and make money
right.
and relieve some of that financial strain. Whereas when the market was having issues, 08, that time frame, it was the opposite. People were so heavily indebted on their homes that they were having to sell their home as a last resort, but they couldn't sell their home because they were having to bring money to closing. So they were losing homes. So thank goodness we're not seeing that. And like Cindy said at the beginning of the show, it's really just about changing people's mindsets.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. When you compare the 08, 07, 08, 09 bubble, was a debt
Lending
risk
driven.
bubble.
Yes, yeah.
to where this one is more a inflation, you have rising
Economic,
home
yeah.
prices. It's more of an economic, because a lot of this is stemming out of those lower rates that we had through COVID, where we saw those massive price increases in equity and on the home values going up. So they're two different situations. So it's hard to compare them head to head. So you have to kind of look at, okay, how did the markets reset themselves and go forward after each one?
And I think it's so important that you point that out. 2% interest rates are not a good indicator of the economy.
Nope.
So as much as we want that, we would have to be in a pretty dire straits to get back to that. So,
Right.
And because
Well, even with the Fed cut this week, so the Feds did cut a 0.25% this week off rates. That does not dictate mortgage rates, but we did not see the mortgage rates really even move. They actually ticked up for a day, and now they've dropped back down to exactly where they were. So we are still around 7% on a conventional and 6.25 to 6.5 on an FHA and VA.
And again, not being doomsday here, guys, it's still the smartest financial investment you're going to make.
Yeah.
And if you need to buy a house because of life situations or what, life doesn't stop happening. Now's not a bad time to purchase a home. And it's like, I just want to train people, it's just about expectations. And we're back to what is historically more mainstream for the way that we have seen things historically. And it looks like rethinking expectations.
I do think that we're seeing a whole lot of buyers and sellers coming off of the sidelines, and I think one good indicator of that is the last several homes that I've put on the market. The offers that they have received were contingent on the seller or the buyer selling a home. So that is where it starts.
They're throwing their hat in the race.
Right. We're not talking about first-time home buyers stepping onto the market. We're talking about people that are currently in homes. So these are the people that are out there that might have 4% interest rates, things like that are ready to take that step because of maybe lifestyle changes, because they need more or less space than they're currently in, and they're biting the bullet and they're paying those 6.5% interest rates.
And that's really been the point. The pain point is there weren't enough homes coming on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of creating this bottleneck effect that we've got a lot of new construction in a certain price point, but in order to make the market work, you have to have turnover somewhere in the middle. You've got to have people selling homes, moving up, downsizing, so on and so forth. And we've talked about that in other shows where, the boomers that would normally be selling their home are staying in their home and aging in place because they can't afford or they couldn't afford to downsize. They were getting a smaller house for more monthly payment than they were before. So we are starting to see that move, and we are seeing an increase in inventory, which I understand from one side of the coin, that is a negative, But from the other side of the coin, that's a positive. So it's really all about how you look at it.
Well, if you look at less than 4 months of inventory on the market is still considered a seller's market. Anywhere from 4 to, I think, 6 months on the market is considered a neutral market. More than 6 months on the market is a buyer's market. So we have been in a full-on seller's market for several years
Extreme
now.
seller's market. Yeah.
And as of last November, we finished up at 3.8 months of inventory on the market. That means we have more homes coming on the market than homes going off the market. So we are almost in a neutral market. And it really depends on too, because again, we're talking general there and just lumping everything in together. If you go a little more micro on that and look at certain price ranges, it is a neutral market.
And you just hit on a point that I think is important to mention. I have seen on the listing side the last several years, let's say you're 250 or under, let's say under 300 really, 265, 275. It didn't matter what it was, where it was, what condition it was in. It was selling, and it was selling very, very quickly. It was also kind of a niche for, mobile homes, townhomes, situations where people were willing to forego traditional single-family housing because they could not find that in their price range. What I am starting to see now is we have a few homes in that 250, 200 to 250 range, which that is what we need. We need homes that on the lower end of that price range, people have availability. They're not grossly over, bidding on those homes to make them work. So that can stimulate the market. That stimulates move up. That stimulates mid-range market.
I
And
still
gives
think
people
that
options.
that is the buyers that are still going to have a tough time, though, and that's
100%,
what Jack and I were
yeah.
talking about this morning. If you have a household income of a combined income of under $120,000, you're still going to have a very hard time breaking into the home ownership because of the affordability. And as of right now, we're not seeing a real solution to that, and we're not going to see prices back up. So we have we have a very large generation that is aging into home ownership now that unfortunately are probably going to become renters for a while.
Well, and a lot of my sellers are working towards, let's get some options in the lower side of that price range. Let's get under 250. Let's see what we can do to hopefully try to stimulate that, because we get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's dig a little more deeper in this when we come back from the break. This is Real Estate Today with Cindy and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3.
It's that time. Christmas time is here. Everybody knows there's not a better time of year.
WGOW. The headlines are just the start.
They really dig deep on today's headlines.
Talk 102.3 WGOW FM.
The time to buy is now. During the Season of New Tradition sales event at Kia of Chattanooga, we'll give you $5,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair trade-in value for your old car toward the purchase of a new Kia K4, K5, Soul, or Seltos, and $7,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair trade-in value toward the purchase of a new Kia Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. New 25 Kia Sportage LX, lease for just $259 per month. New 25 Kia Sorento LX, lease for just $289 per month. Get $5,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair trade-in value toward the purchase of a new Kia K4, K5, Soul, or Seltos, or $7,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair trade-in value toward a new Kia Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride at the world-famous Kia of Chattanooga and KiaofChattanooga.com.
You could be driving a Kia. Oh, yes, you could. Kia of Chattanooga.
24-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, $39.99 down plus tax, tag, and first payment. Trade offer toward new vehicle purchase at retail. Financed by KMF, subject to lender approval. Dealer retains all rebates. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
You know those people who always tell you what you might want to hear, but not what you have to hear? When it comes to selling or buying a home, Cindy Richardson and her team will tell it to you straight. Their years of serving homeowners in the Tennessee Valley have earned them incredible respect in the real estate industry. It's called honesty and trust. And when you use Cindy Richardson, Jody, and the rest of their team, they are sold on selling that house, and they're going to do it because they are the most professional. Call Cindy and her team, 5-star reviews on Google. You've worked hard, deserve respect, be treated as more than just a client. Cindy and her team can also help buy and sell homes for the Spanish-speaking community. Contact the team that thousands of people in the Valley trust, Cindy Richardson and the Richardson Group. Just Google Richardson Group. That's Richardson Group, or go online to rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated.
I'm Barbara Corcoran. In Chattanooga, the agent I trust is Cindy Richardson. Cindy can give you an instant offer in 24 hours, a customized marketing plan, and a full team of experts. Get the option that's right for you. Go to rg423.com.
You know those people who always tell you what you might want to hear, but not what you have to hear? When it comes to selling or buying a home, Cindy Richardson and her team will tell it to you straight. Their years of serving homeowners in the Tennessee Valley have earned them incredible respect in the real estate industry. It's called honesty and trust. They are the most professional. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated. It is such an honor each morning to brag about Cindy Richardson and the incredible pros who make up the Richardson Group Keller Williams. Skip the showing and let the Richardson Group make you an offer on your home. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com.
Talk 102.3.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with Cindy and Jody. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to say this.
I was going to say, I'm impressed. Jesse knows what he's doing in there.
He does. Guys, it is the end. We are wrapping up 2024. And it's been a great year. It's been a weird year. And
Yeah,
but
weird
it
year.
all in a good way, because it's, and kind of comparing it to your time in real estate and my time in real estate, every time you go through one of these things, it always comes out a little different in the wash, but at the end of the day, it's still business as usual to a greater extent. So,
Well, and I think it's so much about mindset. You know, it's like, I hate to be like, I'm tired of hearing it, but I'm tired of hearing how bad, like, things are so bad. Things are so bad. You know, we laughed the other day. There was a time in our career not very long ago where if your house sold in 8 months, we did a cartwheel in the front yard. That was like super
Well,
exciting.
I think that's when we were talking about, we always come up with the words of the year of what we used most this year. And not really sure what this year was, but it was
probably
a
not
year,
safe for radio.
It really was a year for resetting expectations. And with that, we hear a lot, my home didn't sell. Why didn't it sell? Because as we're resetting expectations, it's not just the buyers. I mean, buyers are having to come up to their expectations to what their budget is, what they can actually afford, and what interest rates are. That, 6.5% is very normal now. So buyers have a lot to deal with, but then sellers have a lot to deal with on their end too. So if your home hasn't sold and you've been on the market, then it's probably, you need to look at your expectations.
Well,
again.
and I think education. If I had to think about the word that probably describes my job this year, has been education. It's been myself, buyers, sellers, resetting expectations at the beginning of the year. And I mean, I'm going to be quite frank. I have a few listings that haven't sold this year, that when I listed them, I would have been prepared to die on the stake that they would not be on the market very long. And we've kind of seen that ebb and flow through different price ranges, where you listed something in a price range that was super hot, and then because of things that have happened in the economy and just as the years progressed, those price ranges have kind of, activity has switched in those price ranges. So a lot of people started out honestly one place and have ended up another place.
Well, I think as the market cools off, you don't want to be behind the market. You don't want to be chasing the market. So if your price range is cooling off and you start slightly above where your home should be priced right now, then it's very likely that you will end up with reductions later, because as the market continues to cool and you're above market value, even if it's just slightly, then your home may not sell.
And I mean, again, feel free to kick me under the table here for saying this, but I think a lot of it's reactionary too. You know, I've had a few where, you know, a neighbor who's maybe in a different situation sells their house for $50,000 or $60,000 lower, you know, their whatever that looks like. It's a huge difference. So then you kind of have to take a step back and say, okay, now what does that do to the same way that people selling for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 over ask price was affecting the market, that's kind of affecting the market too. It's like you want to say to people, calm down, no knee-jerk reactions anywhere. Let's work it out. And our rule of thumb has always been, you know, I can't change the location. I can't pick your house up and put it somewhere else. And I can't change the floor plan. So if either of those things are reasons that are going to make it more difficult, we need to absorb that in the price.
Right. And by location, which means is if you're sitting on a main road and you are comparing your price to homes
The
that
end
are
of a
sold
cul-de-sac on a
in
flat
the subdivision,
Yeah.
that had very desirable locations with less traffic, then you are not going to bring the same price that some of those homes brought. Or if you back up to a power substation, you may not bring what one that had a great big level backyard brought. So you really do have to look at your location.
And you have to be kind of on point all the time. So, you know, are you the best house right then? Are there 4 other houses on the market? We can get away with a little higher price if there's nothing you're competing with. But if 4 houses in the back of the cul-de-sac, pancake level yards, you're sitting on the corner of the entrance of the subdivision in a very busy road, when you're the only person, maybe we can squeak a little bit higher, but when you're competing, we've got to absorb that into the price. And sometimes it's something you have to understand that it's very buyer specific. So what one person loves, what's a positive to one person is a negative to other person. So it's a lot about anticipation and what that looks like. But sometimes it's, you know, a pond, a pool, that's a positive to somebody and negative to somebody. It depends on the time of year.
It boils down
Power
to
station,
value.
road, yes.
Your home has to be a good value for what you're getting. That has to be indications of the condition of your home, the location of your home. All of that has to be a value for the buyer. If not, then you may just be helping sell others in the subdivision that look like a good value because you're overpriced.
And I mean, I think even like floor plan, is there something, are you an older home with very divided rooms that is in a price range that's direct competition to new construction with 12-foot ceilings and open floor plans? Does that matter in a particular neighborhood? What is that?
When pricing your home too, I see so many people that put it on at like $499.9. And to me, that is, you have to remember
antiquated.
that your listings syndicate out to a lot of third-party sites, and 98% of home buyers search for homes online. And those search engines that they're using, those third-party sites, are in even increments. So if you're priced at $499.9 and somebody is searching from $500 to $550, they're not seeing your home. So I understand the mentality of going slightly below the $500 because you want it to look like you're cheaper or less expensive, but really you're hurting yourself in the syndication of the home.
What, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot here, Cindy's the number person. What would you say average negotiation is right now?
It depends on the longer you're on the market, the more likely you are to negotiate. So if you are on the market for less than 2 weeks, then you are probably still not going to negotiate much, if any. So if you, and during those first 2 weeks, you're hitting the pent-up buyers. Those are the buyers that have already been out there on the market, actively looking, that are ready to purchase. After those first 2 weeks, you begin getting buyers as they come on the market. So at that point, that's when you might negotiate. So if you've been on the market 2 weeks to 30 days, I would say expect to negotiate 1% to 2%. If it's been more than 30 days and you've not taken a reduction, you can probably expect somewhere more like 2% to 3%.
Okay, so hear that, guys. Average negotiation after you've been on the market, 2% to 3%. I hear so often a seller says to me, I don't want to reduce the price. Tell somebody to just throw me an offer. If we're so far apart from what is average sale or what is making sense, and here's the thing, I don't price your home. We do not price your home. I give you the information, and it's up to you. And if you're okay to hang where we are, I am 150% okay to hang where we are. And I hear so often people say, well, all they want me to do is reduce the house. I'm going to say something that's probably unpopular here, guys. I care more about the person than I do about the commission. But at some point, I don't want you to reduce your house. The less you take for your house, the less money I make. And I mean, irregardless of how we put that out there, I don't want you to reduce the price of your house. I don't want you to have to. So
I think it's good to have those discussions up
front, yeah.
before you're ever even on the market. So if you are starting on the high end, then you may need to have a plan. Okay, if my home has not sold in 2 weeks, that is the market telling me I'm priced too high. I've already hit all the pent-up buyers, and it did not get an offer. How many showings did you get? Out of those showings, what was your feedback? Do you have a consistent thing that people keep saying? Is it something you can fix, or is it something that only lowering the price can fix?
Sure. And I mean, I have said to showing agents that have shown homes of mine, tell me what price they would consider it at. Like somebody looks at it and says, well, they're trying to decide, but whatever. They're thinking about it. Okay, well, cool. What price makes mine number one? Tell me where it needs to be. That way I have some sort of an idea what they're buying. If they're not buying, and that's, feedback is important, guys. I can't make other agents answer me back always. And a lot of times we get, it just didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Tell me why it didn't work so that I can try to, and that's where I'm reaching out to other agents and saying, if they didn't buy mine, which one did they buy? What price would have made them pull the trigger on mine? Because I have a few sellers that say, I'm negotiable. I would consider anything. Tell them to throw me an offer. Well, obviously we're too far apart from that negotiation point. So people aren't going to throw you an offer because they feel it's insulting.
If you are priced well above where you should be, people are not going to submit an offer. They're going to sit back and watch. They're going to wait on you to reduce, and they're going to wait till it gets into the price range that it needs to be in order for them to make an offer. They're not going to just send out, for lack of a better word, a lowball offer.
And understand, guys, sometimes it's not that you are quote unquote priced too high. Okay. I have had over the course of my career several homes where maybe there's a very untraditional floor plan, or, an odd room that doesn't make sense, or a retention pond, or a power transformer. We had one that literally 10 feet from the back door had a huge transformer station in the backyard. We're not saying your house is not priced correctly. It's priced correctly if we could pick that up and move it out of the way. But you are going to take some concession if you have, and sometimes it's something as simple as you have a huge front yard and no backyard. That is a positive to some people. That is a negative to some people. So, understand I don't want you to lower the price of your house.
I think one thing is important to remember too, when you're talking about what is your negotiation percentage. There's a lot of things that are included inside of that besides price.
Not necessarily price.
Because if you're a buyer coming in and coming out of the gate that you need
all your
sessions,
closing costs.
You need closing costs. You need things like that. That's going to affect how you approach a negotiation. So if you've got a seller, well, they're negotiable. Well, how negotiable? Because I can't go above this. I can't go here and get this for what you need. So we're not going to make an offer.
I mean, I had one last week that came in well under list price, significantly under list price. I knew that my seller was very motivated, and the buyer had asked for a lot of concessions.
Yeah.
So it was simple as going back to the agent and saying, listen, we can come to that price. We just can't come to that price and pay all the concessions. So you tell me what we need to do to make it work, and we'll make it work. And we did.
Right.
So it's just about having a realistic conversation. If you're going to give me a really low offer, you're going to give me a ton of concessions, call me and tell me what's important.
Well,
and
when we
we'll
come back
do
from
what
the
we can.
break, too, let's talk about some things that you can do other than price, because the condition of the home has a lot to do with it, too, and even the staging and the marketing. So we'll talk more about that when we come back from the break.
All right, guys, this is Real Estate Today with Cindy and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3.
Out of all the reindeers, you're the mastermind. Run, run, Rudolph. Randolph ain't too far behind. Run, run, Rudolph. Santa's gotta make it to town.
Talking sports with a Chattanooga flair. Local, regional, and national. We'll talk it all on Sport Talk. Weekday afternoons 3 to 7 on Talk Radio 102.3.
Ho, ho, ho! This is Trade-In Clause at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway. We don't care if your old car is bad or good, naughty or nice. Kia of Cleveland will give you $10,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair trading value for your old sleigh toward the purchase of any new Kia Sorento or Sportage. Listen up, boys and girls. Hundreds of new Kias have just arrived from the North Pole, and we're rolling them out of here at whatever price it takes. Is your credit on the naughty list? That's okay. The credit elves can make your Christmas wishes come true. Trade in your old sleigh today and get $10,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair trade-in value for your vehicle. Come see me, John Davis. Trade-in Clause at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna give you more. Kia of Cleveland Superstore.
Negative equity refinance with approved credit. Offers don't buy.
KiaofCleveland.com.
When I started my real estate business with a loan of only $1,000, I never imagined I would see a time that I would have 1,000 agents working for me, or that I would make as much money as I did. If you want to get into real estate, let me give you some advice. Call Cindy Richardson. Cindy offers individualized training, full-time support staff, and the kind of expert marketing to bring business to you. Partner with the leader I trust. Go to rg423.com and talk to Cindy Richardson. You'll be glad you did.
Why is my home wet? Why does water seep into my basement? Or why does my home have that musty smell? If you have those questions about your home, please talk to the experts at USS Chattanooga. Don't let water slowly compromise your home, and don't get yourself in that situation where 10 years from now, with wood rot, mold, or other structural problems, you think to yourself, why didn't I act on this problem when I had a chance years ago? For your own peace of mind, waterproof your home now and end those water problems. United Structural Systems, they have been providing this service for homeowners here for years, redirecting water away from your home, making your home watertight, no mold, no wood rot, no musty feeling. If you have a water problem, you know it. Call USS Chattanooga. Go to the website, USSTN.com/Chattanooga. For the sake of your home, for the health of your family, call United Structural Systems today.
Have you been in 5090 South, the furniture store lately? Largest in-stock selection of custom designed indoor and outdoor furniture. The latest and the greatest. It's a recliner, but it's so much more. Immersive sound seating. This is a recliner that first of all lays all the way back just the way you like it. It's got the massage feature. It even heats up, and the sound, awesome. Holidays are on the way. Probably time to spruce up things around the house. 5090 South Terrace houses 5090 South, the furniture store.
Taking one cash offer for your home doesn't have to be your only option. I'm Barbara Corcoran, and especially in today's current market, having a local real estate agent who offers great marketing and options customized to fit your needs is smart. In Chattanooga, the agent I trust is Cindy Richardson. Cindy can give you an instant offer in 24 hours, a customized marketing plan, and a full team of experts. Get the option that's right for you. Go to rg423.com.
It is such an honor each morning to brag about Cindy Richardson and the incredible pros who make up the Richardson Group, Keller Williams. Hey, ask yourself these questions when finding a realtor. Do you want the highest possible offer for the sale of your home? You're tired of all the drama when it comes to selling and buying a home. What about a transaction that drama-free? A real estate agent like Cindy with years of experience, 5-star rating on Google, will only bring clients first-class results. Hey, skip the showing and let the Richardson Group make you an offer on your home. And when it comes to buying a home with low credit, yeah, no problem. Everyone wants to live out that American dream of owning their own home. Hey, contact the team that thousands of people in the Valley trust. Cindy Richardson and the Richardson Group. Just Google Richardson Group. That's Richardson Group, or go online to rg423.com. rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated.
Talk 102.3 WGOW.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with Cindy and Jody. The end of 2024. It's been a fun year, and I love every part about it. Christmas shopping still to do. Actually, the only thing for this year I can really say is my key word is turbo speed, because this year has absolutely flown by.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, I just keep thinking I've forgotten, like completely forgotten something or
Yeah.
somebody or
I've
what I
forgotten
need.
so
I've
much.
forgotten
I'm just-
about 3 months is what it feels like.
Cindy and I tried to Christmas shop yesterday, and it was like we just spent a lot of time picking stuff up and staring at each other. Like,
Yeah, I'm just going to
who's that for? I don't
apologize
know.
to my family.
I don't
Sorry.
know.
Wait, you
get a
tell me
gift
it's not
card.
July?
You get a gift card. You get a gift card. You get a gift card. Everybody gets a gift
Everybody
card.
gets a Starbucks gift card.
I love you. Mean it. So
Whatever I can email the night before.
Yep.
that, I mean, let's be honest. That kind of sums up my whole year. And as a whole, you know, like think I got the hang of it, and then I'm like back up reset. So when we left, we were talking about homes that have been on the market. Why is your house not selling? Why does it seem like some houses you put them on the market, they're
With-
gone in 3 seconds, and
With
other ones
us
are hanging
coming
out?
out of the seller's market, a very, very hot seller's market for a couple of years, one thing that really kind of fell to the side was staging. And staging is so important when you are selling your home. You're going to live in it very different when it's on the market as to when, you're just actually living there. I mean, your sofa may not be centered right in front of the TV. It's about moving things around to show the best assets of the room, and you're going to remove a lot of things.
I love nothing more than when I walk into a home and a seller's got a notepad and a pen, and they're like, tell me what to do. It is not my goal is to help you achieve your goals, whatever those are. Okay. So if the goal is we need to sell this house and get you in a different place, this is not emotional. It is not personal. I am literally making your home show in its best light, put its best foot forward. The first step of that is photography. We used to be in a world where people called about a sign in the front yard. We had lots of time to react, and that is not the case. First impression is online. If people don't click on it online, they're not scheduling appointments to come and see it, and your house is not selling. So,
in marketing your home, I'd say professional photography. I mean, that's a bare
The minimum.
minimum. Yes. So, I mean, there's so many agents out there that will do it, that if your agent is taking pictures with their cell phone, then you need to really think about your decisions, because professional photography, bare minimum.
and the way that it hits the market matters. Don't throw it on the market with a cell phone exterior and add photos later, because you've kind of missed the oomph. Like Cindy said, you got 2 weeks for pent up buyers historically.
We have an excellent camera at the office. Very, great camera, all the accessories and everything. We thought we could do really good pictures. And then we had a photographer call me, this has been several years ago, and he was like, can I take pictures of this home for you? And I'm like, sure, what's that going to cost me? And he's like, oh, it's free. And he
Got us hook, line, and sinker, yeah.
he did. He come to the home, and I mean, he's literally pulling suitcases. So they have, nothing is getting modified, but they are using external lighting.
Yeah.
Completely different lenses based on the room size and what they're doing. And it makes a huge difference. There's a reason that your magazines and your hotels and things like that use professional photography.
And guys, it's kind of threefold. It is, I need it to look a certain way for photographs. I need it to look a certain way whenever it is showing.
Right. Your staging is
Yes.
going to get the room ready. So the first step is you're going to stage, and you're going to give it a good scrubbing. I mean, everywhere, especially if you're getting a 3D virtual tour. And that is where you can literally walk around in the room. So they can actually walk around. So by the time you get there, they feel like they've already been in the home. But the disadvantage to that is you're not hiding anything. So if you tried to shove everything up behind the couch, guess what? In that 3D tour, we're going to see up behind that. You see everything. So make sure that you are really scrubbing the home and preparing it for the photos.
And naked, guys. I mean, that house is going to be so bare compared to how you live in it. I am very minimalistic. That is who I am by nature. I don't have a lot of stuff. I don't like a lot of things. And even when I went to sell my home, there's quite a bit I had to take out and move. The purpose behind that, guys, it's not because we don't love your couch and we don't love your decor. It is, I don't want them to notice your couch and decor. I want them to notice the beautiful things about your home, and then strategically
Right.
not look at the things that we don't want to show.
A good example of that is hardwood floors. If you have hardwood floors and they're in great condition, get those rugs up. you're hiding the hardwood floors. They are there to buy hardwood floors. They are not there to buy your rugs. Pull the rugs up for the pictures. You don't want them in your kitchen, in your bathrooms, things like that. You want to show the floors.
And I say to people all the time, you can go back to living in your home after we take photos. If you like a rug in your living room, put a rug in your living room. But there will be certain things that we do have you thin out.
98% of all home buyers are shopping online before they visit a home. 98. You have 10 seconds to catch their eye before they swipe to the next home. So if your first few pictures are not perfect and on point, or if they see something they don't like, they're going to keep swiping till they see the next ones. Simple things like cleaning your baseboards, picking up the dog's food, hiding the cat's litter box. Things like that can really help in your photography.
And pictures online. That's going to be a big one. Is make sure the order that your photos are in makes sense. Don't give me 22 photos of the outside of your house.
Well, and I was looking at one the other day. I kid you not, in the first 3 pictures, one of them was the inside of the master bedroom closet.
Nobody cares.
Well, and it's not like, it was not a closet that had an organization center in it that was done by a company or anything. It was wire racks packed with winter clothes, and that was in the first 3 pictures. And if there is an asset to your home that's going to cause your home to sell, whether that be riverfront,
that better be one of the first things people
whatever
see.
it is that is you feel is the selling feature of your home, that better be in the first 3 photos.
And on the same note, guys, if there's something about your home that's not ideal, it does not need to be highlighted.
Just
we're not
because
hiding
you can put
it, but
65
we're not,
pictures
yes.
in does not mean every home needs to have 65
And
pictures
understand
in.
that that's not us hiding anything, okay? We're not hiding anything from you, but I'm not going to highlight. I mean, you know, if you have a good side and a bad side, you're not going to stick your bad side out and say, well, people are going to see it anyway. I want you to physically get into my home and love everything about it so much that you overlook the things that are maybe not ideal. Perfect example. If you have 9 million things on your kitchen countertop, without even realizing that my brain is saying it, my brain is saying, there's not enough cabinet space in this kitchen. This is going to be an organizational nightmare. May not be the case. You may just have a lot of stuff. You may like your stuff out on your counter. That's fine. Shoes. I went in a house not long ago that there were 9,000 pairs of shoes in the master bedroom. They were very neat, but then I thought, I don't have a big enough closet.
Okay. Again, the photos have one job. That is marketing. The photos are there to get people to come see your home. If they are not, if they are doing their job and people are coming to see your home, then you have another issue. The issue is not with your marketing. The issue is with the price of the home. But if your agent is doing their job and all the marketing looks good, the photos look good, people are looking at your home, they're just not making offers, then you're going to have to sit back and reevaluate the price and maybe do an updated market analysis to see if you have kind of overshot.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Let's talk a little bit more about that when we go back from our next break. Guys, this is Real Estate Today with Cindy and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3.
The only station in Chattanooga that has live and local programming from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
It's so convenient.
Talk Radio 102.3 FM.
The market roller coaster is back. Find out what it means for your retirement on Retirement Straight Talk with Morgan Hill, Sunday at 10, right here on the Talk Monster.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions, and you'll destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, right here every Sunday morning at 8:30. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here on the Talk Monster every Sunday morning at 8:30.
Listen to Tony Sanders Outdoors every Saturday morning from 5 to 7 a.m. for the latest information about all things outdoors. Tony Sanders Outdoors, your source for outdoor information, education, and entertainment. Now that's how you do a promo. No bad jokes or puns.
That was really good. I will dive in and see if I can wade through a commercial. Let me catch my breath. I'm debating on whether I can do it.
I can't even get through one promo without a pun. Tony Sanders Outdoors, 5 to 7 a.m. every Saturday morning. Be sure to check us out on Facebook for our podcast.
All right, if you have a yard and a home, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Do you want the highest possible offer for the sale of that home? Contact my friend Cindy Richardson and the incredible pros who make up the Richardson Group, Keller Williams. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. I built the #1 brokerage firm in New York City by marketing luxury homes to the most qualified buyers. What makes the difference today in your area? The same thing. Custom marketing to the right buyers. In Chattanooga, the agent I trust is Cindy Richardson. Her personalized marketing plan attracts more buyers and sells more homes for more money. She can even give you an instant offer. Get the best marketing for your home. Go to rg423.com and put more money in your pocket.
When it comes to selling or buying a home, Cindy Richardson and the incredible pros who make up the Richardson Group, Keller Williams, will tell it to you straight. Their years of serving homeowners in the Tennessee Valley have earned them incredible respect in the real estate industry. Go online to rg423.com. You know, divorce can be hard enough without worrying about selling a home. When you call Cindy Richardson, there's no worry. She makes the process stress-free. One of Cindy's agents just sold the home of a divorced couple. The Richardson Group had to work with 2 different attorneys so that Cindy could negotiate on behalf of both parties. The whole process, absolute smooth as anything. Just Google Richardson Group or go online to rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE. Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices. Just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
If you want to get into real estate, call Cindy Richardson. Cindy offers individualized training, full-time support staff, and the kind of expert marketing to bring business to you. Go to rg423.com and talk to Cindy Richardson. You'll be glad you did.
Talk 102.3.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today with Cindy and Jody. We are wrapping up 2024 today with you, and we have had a great time doing it. I know we've talked a lot about the year in review, houses selling and not selling, and how the market is changing. What do you kind of think we're going to see kind of going forward? I know we're going to do an intro to 2025 show in January, but what do you think we're going to kind of see some of the same things kind of as we move into the next year?
Yeah, I think we're,
This is the new norm. Yeah, I think for a little while at least.
I know we were talking this morning on the way down. Fed's talking about 2 rate cuts possibly next year at most. And I think for a lot of that is just seeing how things stabilize. We've got some economy changes coming up with the new inauguration in January. How's that going to affect
that is one
first
thing I
quarter,
think you'll
second
see.
quarter?
Right, you may see, and it's just my prediction in 2025, you may see more investors stepping back into the market just simply because of some of the tax benefits that should come along with this election.
Yeah, and I think part of that, too, on that side is going to be how does consumer confidence, how do prices react? I know gas is moderately at a decent-ish price right now. I mean, it's not going to be 99 cents a gallon again like it was when I first got my first car. But I think we're going to see some changes to where hopefully some of that pressure on consumers kind of eases up a little bit. Hopefully we don't see it swing the other way, which we never want to see negatives. That's kind of an up and down side part of life, but we never want to see things like that kind of coming down the road, especially be the one to predict.
Right. I don't think we'll see anything that will impact the affordability a whole lot.
I think we're still going to see that moderate appreciation in that 3 to 5% range,
Yeah.
and that is
agree.
becoming more and more. You were right earlier. That's becoming more and more price specific. It seems like everything is kind of going into those micro sections of the market, because everything, if you're under 325, you literally should be under contract within the first 2 weeks.
Right.
Now 500 and above, depending on where you're at, that's going to be a little bit of a different animal. And between 250,
Well, it's weird, like 5 to 8.
Well, my experience with that is in that price range, if you price correctly from day one, then you are, we're getting the look. If you price correctly from day one, then it goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
But if you go even 5 to 10% over where you should be, then you see that it sits on the market.
I think we're not quite to the point yet to where coming in to expect an offer. Everybody is still wanting to come in. Oh, we have to offer list price. I think that's still kind of the buyer mindset, and it hasn't caught up to where everybody's on the same page yet. If you're listing at X, but we need to come in at X minus 3%, and then if you're needing closing costs, sometimes that initial price range puts a little people out of that. Being able to do it, especially, and even this year we had a lot of instances where we were coming in some of those price ranges where things weren't moving to where you still had to be a little bit over list, and now it's, can you get the appraisal?
Right.
And those are a lot of things that go into consideration when you're actually looking at negotiations and where you can ask, because if you're that much over on the price, and then you need some things and go up, where's that appraisal going to come back in? And have you dealt
I've
with
had
that ahead
some
of
that
time?
I've been shocked that the appraisal come back okay. So
Yeah.
far, we're not seeing that affect us as much as we would think, but that may be something that we see in 2025. We may see that appraisals become an issue.
Well, I think we're starting to see a lot more wiggle. And with that, it's not always price, but a lot of times it is price. So, it's just like it affected appraisals on the other end. I feel like we are going to feel it on the back end. There for a while, it didn't matter what you priced something out because the neighbor's house had sold grossly over list price, and so it would appraise. And now we're kind of seeing the opposite effects of that.
Yeah.
People are getting motivated. People are wiggling more on their purchase price, and so that affects appraisals. And it takes a little bit. We pull information based off the last 6 months of sales, similar age, price, condition, location to you. That changes. That's kind of a fluid number that changes depending on where you are in the market and how long you've been there.
Yeah, I think this year has given us an opportunity to get some distance between
Reset a
us
little bit,
and
yeah.
a lot of those really COVID inflated cash buyer prices that were paid. We're paying $50,000 over list price. You don't care what it appraised for. You're not having one, but that does go into the comps. And now that we're in a little bit tighter of a market, you're starting to get away from some of those higher price things. So it's harder to use some of those as a
And it's
true comparable.
perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on which side of the coin you're on.
Yeah.
It's bad and it's not bad, all at the same time. So it's really just about kind of reframing what we have and expectations and how to move forward, and understand we want your house to sell. We want it to sell quick for full list price. I promise that's what we all want.
Yeah.
So just about hitting it right straight out of the gate.
It is, and that's the thing. And the good thing about 2025 is we're going to get to see how this thing shakes out live.
Hey, you know what? We're going to be here at the end
Yeah.
of 2025, just like we are now. So, we'd love to help you. It's what we love to do. We've been doing it a long time, and we've seen a whole lot of things.
Oh, yeah. Well, guys, we want to take the opportunity to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. We look forward to seeing you guys on the flip side of this when we get into 2025 for the first show of the year. This is Real Estate Today with Cindy and Jody on Talk Radio 102.3.
'Cause we've done this before, so